Hi, this is my review of Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. The new Netflix movie about serial killer Ted Bundy. Stars Zac Efron as Bundy and Lily Collins as her kind of clueless girlfriend. Not clueless, but just clueless to the situation. So the movie isn't just about Ted's crimes. Actually, the movie doesn't show any of his crimes at all. The movie, especially for the first half, takes a very humanizing approach to Bundy. And if you didn't know who Bundy was, I could see you going through the first half of this movie and honestly rooting for his character. Bundy, back in the day, was always described as, you know, a very charming, very charismatic person. And Efron is honestly really well cast in that role. But my problem with his performance, even though it's overall really good and he has a lot of little nuances that you can see, but he almost plays it too charismatic to the point where when he's walking down the street, every single college-age chick will... I mean, his charisma is to a point where when he's walking down the street, every college-age woman is turning their heads to look at him and going, oh, I'm so flattered, just by looking at him. Okay, I know Zac Efron is very attractive, but and I understand star power, but don't portray him as this ridiculously charismatic guy, even though he was that in real life. When you watch interviews with Bundy, you can see that he's charismatic in a way, but you almost see the unhinged emotional character he has, and you don't really get that sometimes with Efron. Like, he is extremely charismatic, like to the point where almost a professional assassin or something. Like, I almost feel like he's a member of the CIA. The performances overall are really good. Like I said, I think Efron might have played it a bit too charismatic. Not enough unhingedness there, if you ask me. And like I said, there was the choice to not show any of Ted's crimes, and I think that was the director's aim, and did help to really humanize Bundy. But it also makes the movie, unfortunately, a lot more boring. The stakes feel like they're less. The emotional impact of dating somebody who did these horrible things and not even guessing for 1 second. It's a well-made movie objectively, but I think if you wanted a movie about a killer like this, I would just go for something like David Fincher's Zodiac. I mean, these movies honestly feel very similar in a way, but Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. Okay, ridiculous title, by the way, forgot to mention. Ridiculously long, too long to say. The difference is they don't make you feel the stakes of this man. They don't make you feel the danger. Ted Bundy is scary, and if you watch some of his old real interviews, it's unsettling, and I unfortunately didn't feel that in this movie. Supporting cast is has some great names to it. I mean, they all do competently. I mean, nothing that blows you out of the water. There's Jim Parsons and John Malkovich, and also Haley Joel Osment, which is always nice to see him in something other than Entourage. Yeah, I think the movie could have been at least 20 minutes shorter. I think they go through a lot of things in Bundy's life, especially toward his trial. They cover some things that are a part of his story, but don't feel necessary to an entertaining movie. And yeah, it just could have been cut. And the last scene is supposed to be played for real shock value at the end. At least that's what it felt like it was aiming for. And I didn't feel that. It felt almost a little silly. Like the climax was... They couldn't think of a good enough climax that was going to blow you out of the water. And it almost feels like they tried too hard and wrote something that honestly was a bit predictable. A little disappointing. Other than that, though, like I said, the technical aspects are impressive enough. The performances, especially by Efron, it's a great performance. Just my little problem with him being a bit too charismatic, I think it kind of took me out a little. But Lily Collins is great in this, but I almost feel like the relationship between her and Bundy was a little bit underplayed. And that comes to one of my bigger points, bigger problems with the movie. It's that I don't think this movie knew if it wanted to be a Ted Bundy movie or a movie about somebody who's had to live with Ted Bundy and didn't know. And I think that kind of muddles it up. And then in the third act, the movie wants to be a courtroom drama. And it just didn't work for me. I think it was a lot of different things mashed together because they wanted to tell the full story of Bundy. But it doesn't feel like an epic should, you know? If you're going to tell a full, encompassing story, especially about something historical like this, it might as well be a 3-hour epic. But I feel like this movie didn't want to take the chance to do that either. So yeah, I honestly, I think there are a lot of good things in this movie. I think it's got a good aesthetic. I just think overall it might have been a wasted opportunity for a crime movie of this sort. Especially thinking of something like Zodiac, which was just constantly in my head the whole time. I just think Zodiac is the better version of this movie. I am going to give it 2 out of 4 stars. The reason I'm going to give it 2, yeah, I know I gave The Silence 2 stars as well, but this movie is objectively a lot better than something like The Silence. But within its genre, I was more disappointed by this movie. And that's why I'm going to give it 2. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Yeah!